Good morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever time it is for you. I'm Cycle, and this is Let's Play Train Simulator. And as you can see, I'm starting off exactly where I left off at the last video. I didn't take a recording break. I just went straight into this scenario because I want to play this scenario. Now, again, I'm not going to go over the whole 101 operational aspects today as I plan to for future scenarios. And you'll notice when I get to suburban Glasgow, which is the first route I actually recorded. Actually, it wasn't the first I recorded, but it's the first one that I originally planned to show you. You'll notice I do show you the Class 320 in that scenario and the Class 158 in one of their scenarios. So you'll notice that I do get in the habit of showing you the trains. I'm not going to do that today. I just want to ease you into a nice casual start to this and show you the driving and show you the game. I can show you all the operational mechanics at a later time. So, and once again, this 101 is a simple train. There's not going to be anything really complex with it, so I don't have to really show you too many complex things with it. Let's go ahead and get into the scenario and let's see what we're doing. This is a stopping passenger service from Falmouth to Truro. Open the doors and await the departure signal from the guard's buzzer. Departure signal is... Our doors are open, rather. Let's set up the train very quickly. I'm lowering my brakes so I'm ready to go in a moment here. Let's turn the headlights on. Let's put the reverser up. Let's put the first gear in place. And let's take a look outside. And there you got to hear the old 2010 horn of the railworks age. As we take off on the to our destination of Truro. 4 stations on this journey. We're going to move into gear 2. All signals are clear. And we're going to make our way out of the Falmouth docks area very, very shortly. We got 2 nice shots of that steam engine that was doing some work around the docks. That was very nice. I'm not sure what that black thing is in the sky ahead. That's a very interesting cloud, if that is in fact a cloud. Or maybe it's my wiper. That might be my wiper. Oh no, it's something in the sky. Yeah, it's a very, very interesting cloud. So I should have gone to gear 3 by now. I don't know why I didn't. So we're going to be risking being late for our first stop already. We should still be on time though. No problem. There's one of our distance signals. If that was yellow with the arm horizontal, that would mean we have to stop before the platform. Because it's green, we are cleared into Penmere platform. Or Penmere platform, sorry. This time we're going to remove the throttle and just coast. I don't see any reason right now to gain any speed. If we are going fast coming into the platform, we will slow down. So I am playing on high quality graphics in 64-bit train simulator. This can have its perks, it can have its qualms as well. We'll talk about those as the time comes. So I've moved into gear 4 to prepare to hit the brakes, which I'm going to start doing now. And I actually hit it a little early, so I'm going to take it off, and now I'm going to hit it a little more. Because we're on an uphill, I'm going to go ahead and let the uphill finish slowing us down. So I'm going to go ahead and just come to a nice, slow stop, and I'll apply the brakes as I come to a stop. There we go. That should do the job. We are stopped at Penmere. Having a little bit of a reversal, the brakes have to kick in before I open the doors. But we are going to come to a stop there, and there we are. So the doors can now open, passengers can now disembark. Arrival at Penmere. Once again, we are going to start moving, and this time we are back to gear 1, as we should be, leaving at a speed limit of 40 miles per hour. It should be 30 in this area, I imagine, because all the other stations have a 30 zone. I know there's a 30 zone on the track to the left. Maybe this is a track that does not have the 30 limit on it. I'm actually curious why that is. But in any case, we are going to be continuing along this track. So let's move the gear up to 2 now. We're close enough. So there you can see the sign from the other direction. The 30 is pointing to the other track. So yeah, maybe this is a 40 track we were on. Either way, we are definitely on a 40 track now. We can get up to speed. So a little note about how I do my recording here. You're going to notice that I do use the HUD. This is more for your benefit than for mine. It actually is good for mine too, because I don't trust myself on some of these trains driving them without the HUD. But it's also for your benefit, especially because when you're watching a video and you're watching someone else do the driving and you don't see any indication how fast they're going or anything like that, it gets to be a little bit of, okay, what are you doing? Like, I don't understand what you're doing. They're just showing outside the train. They're not showing any other information. It's like, okay, you're not making sense if you're not going to talk about it. So I feel the good people at this game talk about what they do while they're doing it. And that's what really makes the videos stand out. So that's why I've taken this tack where I talk about what I'm doing, but I'm keeping the HUD on the screen, partly so I can keep myself on track because I'm talking while I'm doing this, but also partly so you guys can see what it is we're doing. And that way it's easy for you to see, oh, he's going into a downhill gradient right now. He needs to hit the brakes now before he starts speeding, which is what I just did. So it's there for your benefit just as much as mine. And I hit the brakes a little too much there. I actually wanted to keep going a little bit faster, but I should be able to get back to 40 by the bottom of the hill, and then when we get the uphill gradient again, we're going to be coming up to the 30. So I'm going to start slowing down for the station about now. You're going to notice there's a little bit of a dip, some houses over on the right rather. And you're going to notice that there is a further dip as we have a big empty space underneath. That's a sign that we're coming up on the Collegewood Viaduct. The daylight is doing some funny things here. Looks like the sun came out from behind a cloud. There's the dip I'm talking about. So the Collegewood Viaduct is right about here. As you see coming off the viaduct, we have a 30-mile-per-hour speed limit now being imposed. I am well under that, so since we're on an uphill, I actually went a little slower than I should have. That's okay, we're going to go ahead and get the throttle on a little bit, and I'm going to start slowing down in a moment. As I go to gear 4. And coming up on about 0.05 of a mile from the platform, I'm going to start slowing down right about now. See how the slowdown affects. I'm going to need to slow down a little more. And brakes off so I can coast into the platform a little more. I'm going to risk putting the throttle into full on 4 because I came in a little slower than I wanted to. Get it back out of there because that's not safe to keep it there like that. Going to coast a little more towards the end of the platform, and I will come to a stop just before the end of it. That should do. Doors are open. Arrival at Penryn. So as we leave Penryn, we are in a 30-mile-per-hour speed limit. We are approaching into the 40 right now, and that's going to let me go into third gear. So I did that a little bit early. I'm going to put it back to second gear for a moment. Now I should be good to go to third gear. You'll notice I left the HUD off for a moment there as I came back from that view. I apologize for that. So we are approaching we are on a 1 in 59 gradient. This is a very steep gradient. You'll notice that my train is having a little bit of difficulty climbing this gradient. Further up along the gradient map, you'll see that it does kind of smooth out there, and it's going to probably go downhill right after that. I can see a downhill dip right there, in fact. So we're going to struggle to climb, then we're going to have a struggle to keep our speed. It's a little bit of a challenging route to drive from the aspect of the ups and downs on the gradients on this. So there is a little bit of a challenge to this area. A lot of people love it, and the fact that you have steam engines to drive on here, which adds even more challenge, having to manage the cold and the fire and the water and everything at the same time. In a real life scenario, you would have someone doing all that for you. You would never be asked to do both at the same time because it's not safe. But in the simulator, you are allowed to turn off the automatic fireman. You are allowed to do it yourself. I'm probably going to use the automatic fireman when I start driving steam. Maybe I will try it without, but that's a little more challenging than I really like. I want to try and be realistic, so that's why I might just keep the automatic fireman. So I've gone ahead and taken the throttle off. You might have heard the engine die down there. Now the speed is gaining down the hill. We are going to get to 40 before we reach the bottom of this hill. So that's why I took the throttle off, knowing that we're going to be increasing to 40 and probably a couple times. I'm going to slow down and I'm going to probably hit 40 again. See a bridge up ahead there? On the HUD, you may see a tunnel coming up. That icon does indicate that there is a tunnel ahead of us. We'll look at that tunnel in just a moment. Gonna hit the brakes again as we come to the bottom of this hill. That's gonna make sure we don't speed as we come upon the next major landmark on this route. And here is the Ponsanooth Viaduct. So that was the Ponsanooth Viaduct. We are now coming up on the I can't talk. We're coming up on the Penryn Tunnel. You'll see it on the screen in just a moment. You can see it coming closer on the HUD right now. There it is. So I'm maintaining a nice 37.5 as we enter the tunnel. Doesn't hurt to let people know we're here. And now the downhill begins again inside the tunnel, so we're going to hit the brakes one more time. 1 in 98 gradient. Going to take it down to about 35, maybe 34, 33. It looks like it dipped below 33 for a moment there, so we're going to have to get down to 30 in a moment anyway. Our third station is coming up, but we can go a little faster for a little while longer here. The Penryn Viaduct is coming up right, or Penryn Viaduct, I should say, is coming up right before our next stop as well. So we're going to keep an eye out for another viaduct to show up here. Actually, this is it right here, I think. So I'm now coming up on an uphill gradient. Looks like I came down a little slower than I needed to. That's okay though, we're not being critically timed here. 7:20 is our arrival. We're actually going to be early. We should be going slower. We don't need to be there any earlier. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little more brakes on here just for that reason. We can coast in here. So now I'm going to put the gear properly into gear 4 because I'm not going to be putting any more speed on. Going to brake a little bit more. Brake a little bit more. I'm literally going to try to coast in at about 5 to 10 towards the end of the platform, but I might actually get to the end of the platform before I want to. I believe this is a tight platform, so it's going to be a matter of fitting the train perfectly between a square peg and a round hole here. I believe we're coming up on just about the right place to stop. Right about here. And let's see how we did, shall we? Arrival at Perranwell platform. Leaving Perranwell platform, we have one more stop to make, and that is going to require us to merge onto the Western Main Line's route and join a segment going 60 miles per hour to reach Truro Bay platform, which is where we need to arrive by 7:30. I left away from the platform a little slower than I intended to. 30 miles per hour is our current speed limit in any case, and I shouldn't even be in gear 3 yet. Why did I go to gear 3? So let's go properly to gear 2. The gears can be a little fussy. So I'm going to take the throttle down to notch 3 for a moment. We are going to have an uphill that we're going to have to fight against here, but I'm going to go ahead and coast for a moment. I'd rather just keep the throttle on for most of the uphill if possible, rather than having to adjust it up and down all the time. We're coming up on the Cannon Viaduct. In fact, we're on that right now. I'm going to see if I can get a picture of this in the next scenario. But for right now, we're just going to enjoy the crossing here. And now we're going to start to hit the uphill here. So I'm going to watch for our speed to start dropping significantly. And when it does, then we're probably going to be approaching the point where we need to start gaining speed. I'll put the throttle back on to full power at 30. Right now, I'll leave it at notch 3. Actually, it's looking like it's maintaining speed on the uphill at notch 3. That's actually pretty good. I'll leave it like that, because at this point, if I were to go 40, we would be early anyway. So I'm going to leave it like this, because this is doing very well for our speed. Now, there's only one major landmark left on this part of our journey, and you're seeing it on the mini map right now at the bottom of the screen. Another tunnel coming up. It's listed as 2 separate entries. It is the Sparmock Tunnel South and the Sparmock Tunnel North. On the extreme left is the south part. On the extreme right is the north part. It is not 2 separate tunnels. It is one continual tunnel. Even on the mini map, which I might show you the mini-map a little bit in the next scenario, but even on the mini-map, you're going to find out that it shows it as 2 separate segments. And if you're in the middle of the tunnel, it shows you as being on a non-interesting segment of the journey. So because south and north are both part of the same tunnel, I don't even refer to them that way. I just call it the Sparmock Tunnel. And here is the Sparmock Tunnel. You can actually see the detail of the tunnel going by thanks to the headlights. If we had those headlights off, which I can't seem to do right now, you wouldn't be able to see anything. I'm coming to the end of the Sparmock Tunnel. It seems I've been holding 32.5 miles per hour the entire way, which I'm very intrigued by. It just started going up again now as we are now getting to the downhill leg. So I am fully expecting our speed to climb a little closer to the 40 limit right now. And then I'll shave a few seconds off to get us even earlier than our current ETA. So I'll drop the throttle down now to nothing. I think we had a slight amount of lag there, so that will still happen. This is a video game after all, not real life. Won't be perfect, but it is very acceptable. We do have to slow down to 30 before we hit the 60, which is kind of an irony if you think about it. You're going to slow down to go fast. Good job. Now, I do not want to be too early, because I know from having already played this, kind of spoiler alert here, there is a little surprise coming up here, so I'm trying to make sure we get a chance to see this surprise. It surprised me the first time, that's for sure. And that's all I'm going to say right now, because I don't want to spoil it. So we're coming up on the 30 limit right now. We're going to slow down in time for that. That's not the surprise. So given how fast I'm going right now, it might be. So there we go. There's Truro Bay platform coming up. So we're now going to enter into the double track segment. Going slightly slower than intended, but I am hearing a noise in my headset here. I hope you guys can hear it too. Look at that! This is actually the slowest run I've had so far. Now I know this. So there's the diversion to, I believe that's the Newham sidings over there. That's steam engines coming in from the western main lines from the Penzance area. We're going to follow behind in our own lane to get to our own platform. And we are in a 60 right now, so we really should be going faster if you think about it. Especially down to gear 2 for now as well, so we can get some more speed. But there is a 20 coming up, so we're going to have to slow down in a moment anyway. So I've taken the speed back down, or the throttle back down. 25 is good enough. I'm going to have to go to gear 4 and get ready to brake for the 20. Which I'll do now. I don't want notch 1 anymore. Get off. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just coast at this point, because there's about 0.05 of a mile out, I'll have the brakes back on, and we're going to go ahead and slow down to get to the end of the platform. This is a very tight squeeze here, so I want to try to get into the platform fully. You can see the buffer ahead now. I'm going to go ahead and slam those brakes on now, and then take them back off and try to coast in. Not what I had in mind, so I'm going to go ahead and change the gears down for a moment. That'll do. Good enough. Doors are open and we have arrived at Truro Bay platform. I hope you enjoyed the journey. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel to see more like this. Let's take a look at the train outside as we finish the scenario. In the meantime, I'll see you next time for a Class 111 journey going the other way. Have a wonderful day, evening, or night, whatever time it is for you, your part of the world. I'll see you next time for more Let's Play Train Simulator. Bye-bye.